What's going on there, everybody? I guess we got a little bit of weather activity, I guess, as far as going on here. May or may not be shorter stream, I guess, as far as for today. I guess as far as we'll see how it goes. We're keeping an eye on the active weather that we got going on here. I guess as far as we got some thunder boomers happening up to the west of us at the moment there. So yeah, we're definitely gonna keep an eye on those. In the meantime, we've got some things going on in here, I guess, as far as to yeah, take care of. So we entertain the idea of putting a front wheel drive or all wheel drive, I guess, as far as onto the Nismo, and I've done some initial placements, I guess, as far as for at least the F type from the Jaguar into this car. And the one problem that I run into is the orientation of the engine. It would have to sit up high in order for the transfer case for the front wheel and the rear wheel and all that good stuff, I guess, as far as to work. So the engine kind of sticks up kind of high, I guess, as far as on this car. So you'd either have to leave the hood off for one thing, or reorient some things. I don't know how it would work, I guess, as far as to get the all-wheel drive to work on this one.
It's a new truck!
Somebody got a new truck! Racer Batman added into the fleet, I guess, as far as yeah, too bad we can't sell those, make some monies off those. So yeah, that is what we did in the off stream there, folks. At least anyway, we did entertain the idea of trying to get the F type. Now I don't know if there's any other engines that would be an upgrade to this one, I guess, as far as that would allow for all-wheel drive. But I did clean this up a little bit more, I guess, as far as we did put the better slicks, I guess, as far as on the front. We did have these in the warehouse, I guess, as far as off of Porsche Carrera. I think that's what we got those initially from, the Carrera rims. But yeah, this thing doesn't how do I put it? So we could probably take this on some runs here, I guess, as far as to kind of show you. But there are some certain cars, I guess, as far as that will beat it. It's kind of 50-50, maybe even a little bit of 60-40, I guess, as far as on which cars it can beat and which ones it can't. But I think at the level it is, as far as getting it at the 538 horsepower, with all the performance parts we got into it, I did go a little bit deeper, I guess, as far as to put things to a 3-star. We did put the intake on it. I don't know if I've shown that. So it's not like completely decked out, I guess, as far as all the performance parts on the steel. We did do, I think, up to the cats. Let's see, did we do this one? Oh, okay, we did do the rears. So we did all the exhausts or whatever to performance, not necessarily 3-star. We didn't do the pistons, didn't do the cams. We did do the intake. I think maybe we did. I don't remember if I did do the cams, but anyway, it's not 100% decked out. It's not 100% decked out with all performance parts, and I think it still remains in the Class B. What is it? 381. 381 on the Class B. So it sits pretty nice, I guess, as far as which what cars. It's not, like I said, not 100%, I guess, as far as being able to beat every car it goes against, but it's a pretty good runner. It's a pretty good runner. So let's go ahead and let's take this over to this strip real quick here and kind of show it off here. We didn't get a chance to do that, I guess, as far as for Monday. I had to cut that short too, I guess, as far as having internet issues. So let's try this out. We'll kind of finish where we left off on there on Monday with this car. So we get to go against now this trim here. If it had the dual overhead cam engine, the 4x4, those things are pretty fast. So with that tuning, with the dual overhead cam, this would probably be better. But I think this one we should be able to beat. Done enough testing in the off stream, I guess, as far as to prove that point. Love the rumble on this thing too. Whoops. Okay, we gotta shake that out. It's got really good response on the out of the chute. Much better than stock, that's for sure. Definitely much better than stock. So we're sub 12-second car, I guess, as far as with the current upgrades we have to it. But yeah, there are quite a few. This one here, I think we're able to beat, if I remember right. I gotta refresh my memory now. The rumble on this one is just so great. Really nice on the shifts. Oh, really? Oh, so this one did beat us. So the stock, I gotta remember here now. Was that the special? That's the standards. That's the standard one. This is what the tuning on this one here does beat us, but I think with the non-tuned, yeah, it's got a little bit higher rating on it. That does beat us. So that kind of gives you an idea, I guess, as far as of where this car sits. Some of these cars that would otherwise not beat us with any tuning. What I do like about this car, the way it's set up here, is the very, very close racing with a lot of cars like the BMW Pro car. This one here does beat us, irregardless of tuning. Yeah, this one does beat us. The F-Type. This is the engine we were trying to get into the 350Z. Not saying it isn't impossible, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get into showing, I guess, as far as in the editor, exactly how it looks. The orientation of the engine is a little bit less desired. I'm trying to put the F-Type in this one. See, look at how close that race was. We were catching that. This is what I kind of like about this car, as far as like it plays catch up, I guess, as far as with that. You can see the interval there. So yeah, it's definitely not perfect, I guess, as far as being able to win, even in this class, we know with the current setting, but pretty fun car to drive. We got it pretty well dialed in. This one we've been able to beat. 374, yeah, I think this one we can beat. What's going on there, Tundra? Hello, hello. Welcome on in. Just testing out the 350Z. The latest upgrades. Man, we're neck and neck with this Audi. We were neck and neck with that Audi. Holy smokes, did I sleep there a ton. Yeah, we definitely can beat this one. I slept there a ton. Let me try that one again. You got a what? Say what? You got a new shoulder. I didn't know you were getting a new shoulder. Is that a shoulder to cry on? I know, I'm not trying to make it funny. I guess I wasn't aware as far as your... Is that a thing? You can get a whole new shoulder? I'd like to get a new shoulder. This one that I got here is very tired, for lack of a better way to put it. Let's go. That sounds painful when I think of it. Getting a whole new shoulder. There we go. That's better. See, I know we could beat that Audi. Yeah, we're definitely a sub 12-second car in this this deal here. As long as I don't sleep too much. This one, I believe, does beat us, regardless of tuning. Just running them down the list there. So, are you able to use the shoulder right away? I guess as far as, I wouldn't think that would be an outpatient thing, would it? No, can't be. I just know when I had my knee surgery or whatever, that was a good 6 months of therapy. Good, and that brings back some memories on that. Making me, this humid weather that we're having here currently, I guess as far as definitely reminds me that knee is not 100% on my right knee. Yep, this one does definitely beat us. Irregardless of tuning. But look at how close that race is. So we did 11.9 to 11.7. I mean, we're talking 2/10. Crazy. Identical reaction times. Let's see, 2.8, 2.5. Yeah, you definitely had us all the way down. About 2/10 all the way down. But anyway, this is where we're at with this car. This beats the pants off of us, I guess, as far as no matter if it's got tuning or not. So no on was an outpatient. I forgot. I asked you a couple of different questions. So let's put it this way: was an outpatient, right? So are you able to use it right away? So I'm assuming both those questions, both those answers were no. Was an outpatient, and you can't use it right away. That makes sense. Yeah, mostly any joints, I guess, as far as knees, elbows, shoulders. Usually, if you have replacement, I guess, as far as those types of things, usually it takes a little bit of therapy, I guess, as far as to get that right. You had to stay 1 day. I think when I had my knee surgery, and we're talking that's well over 20 years ago. I was able to go home right away, but yeah, definitely, I couldn't start walking on it until like 2 months in. 2 months in. It was some crazy therapy. So hopefully you get a pretty expedient recovery, I guess, as far as on that shoulder. We're going against the EV. This one's going to kick our butt. There it goes. So irregardless of tuning on that thing, it kicks our butt. Yep, pretty good reaction time. 11.9 to 11.2. Look at that. That EV spanked us. So anyway, you get a rough idea, I guess, as far as where we're at with this car. So we got a little bit of a mix there just to kind of give you an idea. So whether or not we'll try and get that one to give you all-wheel drive, that's still yet to be seen. I think we would have to find a similar or slightly better engine than what it currently has, I guess, as far as to make it viable, I feel. I don't want to necessarily put say for example, a 4-cylinder, an inline 4, I guess, as far as to make it all-wheel drive. I think that would be going backwards. But I have heard, I guess, as far as that, putting an inline 4, I forget which one it was exactly, that has 4-wheel drive option. You can get like next to 7 seconds on the Mitsubishi Eclipse, and that probably that OT trim. So I don't know. I'd have to probably play around to see what would be possible. So we do have, yeah, I think we have, do I have it out here? No, I got my beamers out here. So let's go to the parking garage really quick. I'm gonna pull out our Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's gotta find it. That one we got pretty good upgrades to it. So our Ferrari Camaro. What did I do with that thing? There it is. Pull this guy out. This one's got a pretty decent amount of tuning. Now, granted, that we could probably get more out of this thing. So that one is an inline 4. Dual overhead cam 4x4. Okay, we might have to entertain this one and maybe try and put this one in the... I have to look at all the stats for this trim. So this one's the Special Edition OT. And see if we can't get comparable results out of that. Putting it into the 350Z, the Nissan. So inline 4. So yeah, there's definitely something that's been done. So it's more than just the 4x4. That's probably allowing for all that. We might have to divulge into the editor and such like that, I guess, as far as to find out what's going on with that car. So I think by default, that one's called... I'm gonna bring up my stuff here. I think that one's the Moon, something Moon. Okay, that's not logged in here. Why is that not logged in here? I gotta fix that. Give me just a second here, folks. We'll get try to get this thing going here pretty quick today, because as far as might be an abbreviated WhatEver Wednesday, just based on some very active weather that we have going on. Very active weather. So I got that on the I'm streaming the weather, I guess, as far as on my TV. And there's a lot of especially to the west of my current location. But it seems to be staying mostly to the west and the south. So hopefully it stays that way. Okay, so we got that. I want... Yeah, let's do this. Car mechanic. Sim 21 cars. I thought I had that bookmark, but I guess not. Okay, so the one we were looking for... Bear with me, folks. I wasn't prepared, I guess, as far as for this as much as I thought I was. We're gonna make good on it, though. So if we got... What is that one that's the Mitsubishi Eclipse? That is the... Oh, here it is. The Hinata. Is that the one? Yeah, Moon MK1. That's what that is by default. Okay, so the Nissan is the Katagiri? Is that, that's how they say that? That's the default name. And then of course we got the man. Okay, so we're looking for the Hinata. The Hinata. Where'd that go? Yeah, those right there. Okay, so with that in mind, what we're gonna load this up in the editor as far as to see what's going on with it. How about that? Let's we're gonna spend some editor time. So let's go ahead and we didn't really do much in here. We just did a couple of runs on the drag strip. So let's go. What do I need here? I need to go here, exit out of this. That's fine. We're gonna get into the editor here real quick. So we're looking for the Hinata Moon Mark 1. And I don't know if that one's got the trim for the 4x4. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Right, meow. We need some background music. So yeah, I did do some work in the off stream, I guess, as far as to try to get the F-Type Jaguar engine, I guess, as far as into this, and just to kind of give you an idea of how this would work. Okay, while I got this loaded, we'll kind of show you what it would require. So if we go to engine, now we're not going to save this, but I just to kind of show you, I guess, as far as what it would entail. So this is the F-Type engine right there. All right. And what the deal is because of the way the transfer case is on this here, in order to get this to line up properly, you have to have the engine up higher than this location. So you can see the orientation of the drive shaft, but particularly where the transfer case, which is right there, we also need to change the suspension. This one needs to be there's one specifically for the F-Type, which is this guy. So this shaft right here, this is all we have to be able to go with this engine. That's how high the engine would have to go to be able to meet up with this front wheel drive here. Obviously the downpipe's in the way, but you get the idea. So the engine would have to come up like so. And this is just to give you an idea, I guess, as far as what this would. And so the engine would stick up way in the air. If I turn the body back on, the hood would have to be removed. And I've looked into it, I guess, as far as to see if there was a different type of hood we could put on this, and there doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be. So if I explode this. So you got the idea here. Plus we got all this body trim that's up in here. That's not. You can't do anything with that. Cannot do anything with that. So that's where that engine would have to go, just like that, in order for that four-wheel drive, I guess, as far as method to work. That's where that would have to go. So I don't think that's going to be as possible to do it with the F-Type, the Jaguar F-Type anyway. Wouldn't be too much of a problem, I guess, as far as to get this to move, but definitely in order to get this particular shaft right here lined up with the transfer case on the F-Type, that's the only way that would work. So anyway, hopefully that does show what is or isn't possible with the F-Type engine anyway. I was hoping it would be a little bit better to work with, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's not. So I don't remember what type of I'd have to look at the F-type, but the suspension, I guess as far as up here would be fine. We can get that all to line up here, no problem. It's just the fact that we'd have to keep the engine that high. It would be possible, I feel, to just have a, we could do a delete on the hood, as far as the config, but then you would still have the engine still cutting in this way. There's no room, I guess, as far as to go back enough, I guess, as far as, of course, I don't really think I tried that. If I do this, yeah, see, that's still going to clip in there. I'd have to scale that down. I don't think this one's going to work as well, anyway. Without scaling it down too much, I guess, as far as, and everything else is not going to line up. As far as the transfer case stuff and the drive shaft and all that jazz. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to bring up the Hinata Moon. That's got this still up on the screen. I know you can't all see it, but so the Hinata Moon MK1. Bring this one up. So this would be the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Okay, and it does have the special edition OT. Okay, and then this one, the engine does have that inline 4 single overhead cam, but also has a dual overhead cam option. Let's see here. Wait a minute, where'd it go? Oh, right here. So inline 4, dual overhead cam. So is there a 4x4 for the dual overhead cam? I see the single overhead cam. Let's see, turbocharged. What's going on there, Coyote? We're just checking out some things we could do with the Nissan 350Zs, but we're bringing up the Mitsubishi Eclipse, I guess, as far as to see that engine option that allows for what it can do. So I'm not seeing an option for dual overhead cam 4x4. So are we gonna have to settle with the single overhead cam 4x4? So the one we have in our own garage, I guess, as far as that's the inline 4 dual overhead cam, we're able to get all the horsepower that we do with that. I'm just trying to wonder how we go about that. So the swaps on this one are just that one. For this trim? No, that's not right. That's not right. Hold on a second. So this one's showing that's the only engine we can put in there, so that's not the one we want then. We have the option, because we have one in our own garage as far as to do a dual overhead cam, but it's not necessarily a 4x4.
Racer Batman says, I was helping my dad out. We are getting a new refrigerator tomorrow.
Oh, it's coming tomorrow. Yeah, I know you said it was from a few weeks to a few days. Now you're getting it tomorrow. That's pretty good. You got kickball with the youngster in school and just a bit. Oh, cool. Kickball. Man, I haven't played kickball in a hot minute. That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. I appreciate you stopping in, I guess, as far as until you got the kickball game there, Coyote. So I need to find the one that allows for. I could have swore that's what we had was a special edition OT. I could have sworn. So this is the Sunrise. What swaps has this one got in it? Okay, so this one's got single overhead cam. Oops, hold on. And then a turbo. Okay, I gotta find the one that has the option for the dual overhead cam. Let's see here. So the single overhead cam. So R4. Those do not have the ones we're looking for. Good grief, what did we have in that car of ours? That's gonna bug me now. We're gonna have to go back into the game and check it out. I can't remember now. I don't think it was a turbo. I think it was a dual overhead cam one. with performance. Let's go back to the main menu. Let's check this out. Neither have I. Been out of school for 20 years, right? You never played kickball? I played softball a few years ago. Couldn't hardly move for a week. Oh yeah. It's good times though. Was that seriously? You haven't necessarily ever played kickball? I remember dodgeball and kickball. Those are two pretty fun sports. I like those better than playing like basketball. Definitely, definitely. Alright, so let's go back into the game. And we gotta pull out that one that we've got, that Mitsubishi Eclipse. I could have swore that was a special edition OT. But now I can't remember if it was a turbo or not. Alright. You haven't played since probably elementary school, so yeah, it's been 20 years, I guess. That's a while. I gotcha. Rich Batman had played some kickball. I don't know if you're answering in that conversation. So let's pull out. We're back in the game here, so let's go to our parking garage. Pull out our Mitsubishi Eclipse. Oh, this is a Mark II. Okay, hold on. So that has the inline 4 dual overhead cam 4x4. Okay. So it's a Mark II. I was loading up the Mark I. Okay, so that was the first problem. So yeah, that one should allow for an inline 4 dual overhead cam 4x4. That is what we have as a Mark II. Okay, that's what I had to confirm. Alright, confirm. Mark II. Alright, let's go back to the editor. I know, back and forth, back and forth. Don't need to save that, we're good. We haven't done anything much in theirs. Let's get back here into the editor. Yeah, it's been a hot minute for me too, as far as playing, so love the color. Oh, welcome in, Brax. I didn't mean to overlook you. You talking about on the Nissan? Yeah, that was the default color that was on there. It's kind of like a, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a deep burgundy or something like that. Yeah, that turned out really cool on that one. But we're trying to make one, I guess, as far as that'll have most of the power that we can get. So I got to load up the Mark II. So that's not going to be this one. So let me go here. That's the Mark I. Is that going to be under here? Must be under here. No, that's not the right one. It says Mark II though. Okay, maybe I don't have the right one. And not a Moon. That is not the right car. You son of a gun. So which one is it that, maybe I don't have the right car? It should be the right one. So is it... Yeah, no, it's the Moon. I got it up on the screen here. Should be one of these here. So this one is that. That's the Mitsubishi Lancer. That's not what we want. Okay. Go back to this one here. But it's showing a Mark II. Okay, so maybe... Hold on. Special OT. Why doesn't this one have the option? That's single overhead cam, 4x4. Okay, what is the other swap on this one? And then engine, inline 4, 4x4. But it doesn't say dual overhead cam. I'm not 100% sure if this is the one that we want or not. Kids are coming out, gotta run. No, appreciate you stopping in there, Coyote. Have fun with the kickball. So apparently, I know I don't have this bumper on ours. I know we don't have that. So this one here, hold on. That's basically the one we have here, but it's a special edition OT. Well, we're trying to get something rolling here, Racer Batman, for sure. I just got to find which car has that inline 4 dual overhead cam 4x4. That's the one we're looking for. So this one doesn't seem to be. I don't know if that's the one right there. Well, this one says single overhead. I don't know if this is the one here. Engine inline 4 4x4. Good question. So what I'm gonna do, let's turn the body off here. So this one's initially loaded up here with the single overhead cam 4x4. So let me see what the difference is. This is the single overhead cam. Let's put the, I have it in here. So that's currently the one we have. I have not tried this one, so you have to bear with me. So here's the dual overhead cam 4x4. But this one doesn't say it's got that swap for it. Oh, wait a minute, I see. So it's actually called engine. So this is the one. Okay, so it's actually called engine i4 4x4. So this is the engine. All right, cool. So this would be the engine that we have in our deal. Okay. So what I want to also look at for this deal is the nope, we don't want that one. Tuning. That's what we want. Nope, that's not what we want either. That's for the body panels and all that. So what is it for? Under here. There it is. This is what I wanted to see. So the CX is at 0.38. So from what I've come to find, I gotta remember now, because I did this to the BMW Pro car to beef up the V6 that we put into the special BMW Pro car. I think I had to lower this number on that, and then we also had to increase this number. But the fact that this is way higher, I guess, as far as on so this one's at a 3.12 and a 0.38. If we look at the BMW Pro car, as far as what I the special one that I did, you can see what I did there. That's not even close to being that high. I think I ended up putting it at a 1.80. So yeah, the fact that this one's really super duper high for this engine, I can kind of see why it gets as much horsepower as it does. So if we were to switch this out, let me see if that'll switch this back out to the single overhead cam. That would be this guy right here. So this was single overhead cam 4x4. Now if we go to other, okay, that doesn't change this. So I get how this is working now. So the engine that we put into this one, if you leave the single overhead cam, that has its own properties to it, you know, as far as the horsepower. So if you put one with a dual overhead cam 4x4, obviously these values are going to boost that even further. So that's what's happening. So just to give you a comparison, I guess, as far as these numbers here in particular, these two numbers, I'm going to bring up our special BMW Pro car and kind of show you the difference. And we're able to get, at the base at least anyway, similar to the inline 6 that comes with the BMW Pro car, having this value at like a 1.8. That's what I'm going to open it up here and see. And this one's down to like a 0.26. So I'm going to check this out. I'm going by memory as far as when I say that. So let's do BMW. Where's that Pro car at? Right here. Well, we got our special configuration, which is this one. This is the one we put the V6 in there from the Renault Clio. So if we look at all the stats for this one, you can see I put this at a 1.88 and a 0.25 on this one here. That gives, at least at the base level for this engine, that comes from originally from the Renault Clio. So that one is this engine here. We're able to get the same amount of power as we can in the inline 6 that normally comes with this BMW Pro car. So I guess what it comes down to is in the Nissan 350Z, do we want to have comparable horsepower as the Mitsubishi Eclipse with that inline 4 dual overhead cam 4x4? That's what I'm contemplating. So what we're going to do is go back to the Hanada. For that Hanada, Mark 1. Then we need to go to this guy and then load up. Yep, single overhead cam. We need the dual overhead cam. That's this guy. So this is the engine we'd want to put into the Nissan 350Z. This one right here. So what I'm going to do, now the 350Z by default is a rear wheel drive, right? So we have to look and see what components are on this one here, and we'll have to attempt to apply those to the 350Z. So this has got the strut assembly. Let's go to suspension. So that's the center power 2. Okay. I see how it's going. So the transfer case is built into the transmission that way. And you got the rear wheel. Okay, so the rear, I'm not really worried about the rear as much as I am the front, as far as to make sure that we can get not only the rear wheel drive that's already on the 350Z, but to make sure we make use of the front wheel drive. Make it all wheel drive. So, what kind of, so on the left, we had power 2. Power 2, so it's all power 2, center power 2 and power 2. Gotcha. And what are the, yeah, we might have to play around with that to get it to fit in the 350Z. That's okay though. We can always bring this back up here, I guess, as far as power 2. Alright. Got it. Alright, so what we're gonna do, I need to actually make a copy of that configuration for the Nissan 350Z. Okay, so that's the Mitsubishi Eclipse. What was the, oh god, what was the name of that? I think that's the Ribbsan. Alright, hold on. Yeah, I think that was the Ribbsan. That's gonna be this guy right here. This is the one we want to create a new configuration for. So it's the Ribbsan Z530, but it's a 350Z. Okay, so we want, I think we want the F Spec. This one right here. Oh god, the heck happened there? I don't know what that was all about. This is the trim that we want to do deal with. So the Ribbsan Z530, which is a 350Z. F Spec. So we got to look for that in our game files and make a copy of these configs. So let's do that real quick. Let's go back to the main menu. And I don't want to play around with that one right there because that's game files. We don't want to mess with that. We do not want to mess with that. Okay. So far so good. So what I need to do is go here. I'm gonna get back to the main menu first. Okay, why is that still playing? You should not be playing. Thank you. Alright, we got that working. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do, let me do this real quick. Bloop. We'll be back here in a second. Okay, so there's that. We need, oh god, it's not gonna let me go to, hold on, give me some, we'll be back here in just a second, folks. Give me a moment. So let's do this. I'm gonna need, let's see, there we go. Alright, let's switch this back over this way. Okay, so what we need to do, let's get out of the game, number 1. Pulls out of that for now. So what we're looking for in our game files We gotta go to data. We gotta go to streaming assets, go to our cars, and we gotta find Ribbsan. Not as what we want to copy. That's what we're trying to mimic, at least anyway. We can do all that in the editor. So, Ribbsan. Right there. So this is the one we need here. That's first and foremost. And so now we know the car that we want to create a new config for. There's already 2 configs for that, which is one is the F Spec. That's that one. That's the one we want to make a copy of. We're going to make a copy of this. Paste that. And then these are just named in succession. Progressive, so we'll do, that's going to be a 2. And then we also want to copy that body config, I guess, as far as for that too. We're going to copy this config, paste that, rename that, and then do, this will be config 2. And you want to have, you need to have, that's a prerequisite, I guess, as far as you need to have a corresponding body config, I guess, as far as for the config file. If you leave that out there, the car won't load correctly, I guess, as far as either in the game or in the editor. So just make sure that's good like that. Now we can load up this config. I want to rename this to I don't know what I want to name that. I want to make it something that's distinguishable, I guess, as far as between the two, so that when we load it up into the editor, we know exactly what we're working on. We already got the best viewers here, so don't come back. Thank you. We already got the best viewers here. So I'm gonna name this one. I don't know if I just want to do it as a 4x4 or all-wheel drive special. Let's do that. We'll do AWD special. That sounds good. That'll distinguish it between the two. And we'll save that. And this one already does load in on a call orders, in the barn, in the junkyard, and at auction. So we're good there. Yep, just make sure we save that and close it. Now we can go back into the editor. We can go back into the editor and load that one up. Let's do that right now. Okay, let's load up our mechanic. And we want to go, we can go right into the editor from here. So you can either do it from the menu or you can do it right from your launcher. Either way works. Alright, and we already got that car loaded up. That's our 5 thing. We want the, now we should be able to see our all-wheel drive special. That's the one we want to edit. Okay, so what we want to do, let's do, turn that body off. We don't need to explode it, we're good. So we want to swap out this engine. And more likely what's going to happen is we're only going to have, we should be able to do the same engine swaps as the Kanata, otherwise known as the Mitsubishi Eclipse. We should be able to do that if we do that. If we do this correctly, we should have both the single overhead cam and the dual overhead cam option. Okay, so what we want to do is go to engine. We'll put that in the swaps here as far as once we get that done. So let's do, I should have looked at the scale of that engine in the Mitsubishi Eclipse. We'll see how this works as far as this way. So we need to look for, let's see here. That's going to be the inline 4. That's going to be up here. Inline 4. Not the single overhead cam. We want this guy right there. Whoop. So the orientation is going to be completely different, which is to be expected. So this one's got the, hold on here. None of that downpipe we need, so we're going to have to switch that out. So initially what we'll do here is, okay, what did I miss here? Okay, so there's for the 4-wheel drive. Why do I feel like I'm missing something here? No problem. So let me change out the suspension. We need the center, we'd say powered. It was front power 2. What I got wrote down. Front centered power 2. Ooh. That's gonna be that guy. And then these will be front right. I think I wrote that down wrong. Front right 2? Yeah, this one here. Is that the right one? Yeah, so you got front right 2, center powered 2. No, that's not right. It should be powered 2. Hold on. Powered 2. That's what I got wrote down anyway. What's going on there, Jack Daw? So those are the center. Okay, why am I not seeing those? Front right power 2. Here it is. Where the heck did that thing go? That's the one we want right there. So that's going to allow for double drive. What I'm not getting understanding here, we're going to have to change. This one's still got the turbo on it? Is that right? No, I didn't think that was a turbo, was it? Let me go back to the engine. What's going on there, bad player? Yeah, so that's not a turbo. Why is this showing a turbo on it? Is that just the downpipe? Let me check that out. I feel like that's not correct. V6G, where's the downpipe? V8-2. That's gonna have to change. Yeah, I need to figure out what's going on with the Mitsubishi Eclipse for that. For those just tuning in, I guess as far as what we're attempting to do here is put the same type of engine swaps as the Mitsubishi Eclipse into the Nissan 350Z, also known as the Ribbsan Z530. So this is not lining up right here. So I wonder. Oh, I see. Hold on. We gotta move this engine. Is that the engine? Yep. You gotta move the engine so that it lines up with. Oh my. Oh my, okay, I see where it's not lining up now. Okay, why is there no drive shaft over here though? Okay. Just getting an idea of, kind of confused why there's not drive shaft over on this side. Unless it's just buried. Let me move this over. So I see where the steering rack is. We got to get that lined up with the tie rod. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I think it's definitely possible. Oh, I see what I did. I got to change this side too. So that's the powered. Gotcha. Okay, that's why it's not lined up. There's still got the strut assembly there. Okay. So this one needs to be changed on this side. I forgot to change that one. So this one needs to be right power 2. It goes down here. Right power 2. There we go. Now that all lines up. There is our other axle. Cool. Alrighty then. So that needs to line up with. May have to take a closer look on the Mitsubishi Eclipse to see. So I don't know if that bar is supposed to go right through. Where is this bar here supposed to go? That's supposed to go through that? This is for the rear wheel drive right there, I know that much. I'm gonna have to check on the Mitsubishi Eclipse to see. I think this has got to go like this. Not sure if that's right or not. Definitely need something going through there. It doesn't go like that, does it? Not 100% sure. I mean, that would make sense, but I'm gonna have to look at the Mitsubishi Eclipse, I guess, as far as to see. Is that confirmed? Is that the way that's gotta go? That would seem to make sense. It's kind of weird how it's just that shaft here, I guess, as far as goes right through that like that. Okay. So if that's the way that goes, how are we looking orientation in the engine bay? How are we looking there? Okay, let's explode it. Oh my, look at how far forward that thing is. Ay, caramba, I don't know if that's gonna work. Well, okay. That could be an issue. That could be an issue. Okay, let me see how this is lined up. Yeah, so that's pretty much where that I have to go. It'd have to go this much forward in order to get the axles to line up with the wheels and such. Well, that's a bummer. But that definitely wouldn't work in this car. If we didn't have all this bodywork in here, wouldn't be so much of an issue. Yeah, it wouldn't be so much of an issue. Now I wonder, hold on. Nope, that should be correct as far as the orientation. Yeah, because mostly on the Mitsubishi Eclipse, like all the belts and stuff are over on this side. I just wondered if we could turn it around. If that would help. Let's see here. Kind of curious now, so I wonder if we could turn this around. That would be on the Y, so we'd have to do 180. How would that work? Let me see. We got to try some things out here just to see what's possible. See, that would fit a little bit better that way, but how is it lining up with the shafts here? We'd have to go probably back this way. Okay, so that would go this way. Let's see here. Alright, let me take off the body here for a second. And let's line our shaft up here for front wheel drive. That would be right about there. Like so. Okay, so how does that look in the engine bay? Now, what'll be kind of funky is how the exhaust would work if you do it this way. Yeah, but the exhaust would be kind of funky with that. Alright, so, yep, set a little bit back further, because as far as it's going to run into the firewall quite a bit. Maybe that's not going to work as well as we was hoping. That's a bummer. Engine bay is just not accommodating for that engine. That's a bummer. You know, definitely something else we could do is try and, you know, play around with the torque numbers and stuff like that on the original engine, the V6 that comes into it. We can definitely do that too. Now, the fact that we called this one and this config an all-wheel drive special, we can always change that. That's not a big deal. We can always change that. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think even this engine's gonna work right, I guess, as far as for this Nissan 350Z. So this would be the Mitsubishi Eclipse engine. That's the one that's in that car. So what we're noticing this way, even turning it around, it's going to be too far into the firewall as far as to get all the suspension stuff to line up correctly. So I don't think that's going to work right. We would have to severely modify, I guess, as far as the orientation of the wheels here. We don't want to do that. We would definitely want to keep the wheels centered into the fender like they are. It's one thing, I guess, as far as to have to lift it up or down super high. We had to do that on our V10 special for our BMW Pro car with a rear mounted engine. So that didn't turn out too bad, but this would be way too extreme. We'd have to bring the wheels all the way back. Well, just for example, let me put this back to this orientation. Go this way. This is the way it should go. If we were to set this into the engine bay the way we would need it to be, for example, get it centered into this engine bay, we would need to be, probably even move it over this way. It would need to be something like that. Something like that. And the problem is, by putting it in that position, turn the body off, it's not going to line up the front wheel drive shaft as far as for our wheels. It lands it up pretty much right in the center of the gearbox, so we got to hook them up over here. So that is definitely not going to work. We would have to move our wheels all the way back out of the fender well, I guess, as first to line up with that. So that's definitely not going to work with that engine anyway. So that's the only other one I can think of, the size of the F-Type, which sits way high up into the engine bay, and clips through that body trim, I guess, as far as on the nose. So that's definitely not going to work either for this car. I'm thinking more what we could do with this car is to just see if we can modify the torque in the CX, I guess, as far as values, I guess, as far as do it to give it more power, even at its base, let alone its the performance parts upgrade. I think that would probably be the better route to go with this car. After trying out these two different engines anyway. So what we'll do, I am not going to save this. Let's load up a different car and we can come back to this. We'll reload up our special. I don't know, it doesn't matter which one we load. Let's just load this one up. Okay, and then we can go back to that. Just the Ribbsan. Here's my test car. Ribbsan. This one right here. We'll just reload it back in. And that's going to be our... Now, we currently have it just as an all-wheel drive special. We can always rename that. We can just do it as a just a special. Just plain and simply a special. So yeah, if we go into these values and start playing around with these, I think that's going to be a better option. Now, we don't want to go too crazy with it. So as we've seen with the Mitsubishi Eclipse that has the dual overhead cam, that was set to like a 3 point something or another on the torque mod. That's why it's able to get all of that that power out of that particular engine. I don't know if we want to necessarily go that high with this one. So I'm thinking, if nothing else, what we could do is set this to like a 2 and go from there. And then probably bring this down to a 0.25, 0.26 like we did for the BMW Pro car. So basically setting this one up the same as we did at the BMW Pro car. We had it at a 1.88 on this value and a 0.25 or 0.26 on this value. I think that would probably work. But I think for this one here, that's what we'll do. We'll change this to a 1.88, just like the BMW Pro car. Both 6-cylinder engines, if you want to consider that. So 1.88, and then this one will do. Now, in my testing here, what I've come to find, lowering this value increases basically the overall amount of horsepower and performance you can get out of the car. But raising the number lowers that value. So right now, for example, this V6 gets what was it, 314 horsepower. That's what we do know. This V6, without doing these modifications, gets 314 horsepower, right? So by lifting this up here to 1.88, it basically will not double the horsepower, but it brings it up. The difference between what it was and what it will be, it's hard to explain. So I'm going to go back to the BMW Pro Car just for a second. To get that Renault Clio engine that we did in the BMW Pro Car, it was initially at a 1. In order to get that one from a 300 and whatever horsepower, similar as this car, in the Renault Clio, to get it to the 465, roughly, I guess as far as in the BMW Pro Car and the inline 6, that default engine, we had to put that at a 1.88 in order to accomplish that. So picture, if you will, I guess as far as with each percentage or each decimal point that you go up, it's about roughly, say, 10 horsepower. Roughly 10 to 15 horsepower. Just to put it in a ballpark, to get an idea. So that's the only other comparison I can make. I'm assuming, and then we'll find once we apply these values to this car, if we get the same result as that. So 314 was the original horsepower that we got without making the changes. After we make the changes, we should get in the ballpark of 500 horsepower, maybe a little bit less, maybe closer to 465, 485. We'll find out. We can always come back in here and adjust it until we got the value that we're looking for. Let me put this at a 2.5 as opposed to a 3.3. So those two values are primarily what you want to mess with as far as horsepower and overall torque, I guess, as far as for that engine that you're putting into it. So we're going to keep the NSN V6 engine as an option. We're just kind of giving it a little bit more power in this special configuration is all. That's the summary of that one. So that's all we want to do with this car. We're going to go ahead and save that under our special configuration. I think there's a way. Check here real quick. I think there's a way to main. Yeah, here it is. So we can change it right here. I guess as far as the. So we just want to make this a special. It's not going to be an all-wheel drive special. So either you do it in the editor here, or you just open up the config file within your game files. You can do it either way. So leave everything else the same. We're going to save this config. Cool. And then now we can potentially look this car for either in the call orders, the junkyard, and or the barns. I guess as far as we should be able to find that car. I don't know if we'll get that lucky like we have been in the past. I guess as far as being able to find it like lickety split. I guess we can find out though. Let's go back to the main menu. Now we got to save. And let's see if we can find this car. And that's the only other downside. Now, I could have probably changed it too, so where we can actually load the car in the salon. I just thought of that now. I might want to still do that. Just from what I can tell in the config file, this car is not loadable in the salon. We'll go to the salon anyway, I guess, as far as just to see if we can load it up in there. Let's go into here. Load her up, and yeah, we'll try going to the salon and see if we can load this car up. So if it doesn't want to load up in the salon, we can add the option in the editor and the config file, I guess, as far as for being able to populate it in the salon. Alright, let's see what we get here. Have a little fun with the editor and creating a new car today. Okay, so that's not going to affect this car. We created a separate configuration for that. Now, if we really wanted to, we could have done that, I guess, as far as, but I don't like messing with game files. Game files, I like to leave those alone. I like to keep those totally separate, I guess, as far as from, a modified one. So that's part of the reason why I didn't do it the way y'all might think. So we're going to go to the salon and confirm whether or not we can load this thing in there. Now, based on the config, it's not supposed to load. Let's find out. So that's going to be Nissan 350Z. Oh, this is such a tropical. Makes me feel like I'm in Fantasy Island or something. Okay, so there's the Mitsubishi Eclipse. That's the Mark II. We're looking for the Nissan 350Z. Nissan 350Z. Why aren't these in alphabetic? Right, so that's what I'm confirming here. Yeah, the 350Z. That's what we're confirming. So we can add the option to have it load in the salon for our special. So there's a Nissan Skyline. There it is right there, 350Z. Right there. So it makes me tend to wonder, why is this one loading? So there's 3 different trims that we have now. We have our special, we have the F Spec. So it might be the F Spec that we copied. May not going to load. So the baseline 350Z, see, they're all in here. So anyway, that is confirmed it's in here. We need to load up our special. Interesting. So by the configuration file, it shouldn't load, but the fact that it is, it doesn't matter what color it is. What I want to see on this one is what kind of horsepower it's got. Overview. Nope, I don't want that either. We want this guy. So by, yeah, no miles on it. 609. So by adjusting it to 1.88 on this config, it practically doubles the horsepower. Practically. That's having it under 2. So the question becomes, do we want it to be that high? That's where we're at right now. So the torque is 529. Now the base power out of this deal was 314, from what we do recall. That was the single overhead cam too, I guess, as far as, so I'm not, nope, I'm getting the Mitsubishi Eclipse mixed up too, so never mind. This engine, I guess, as far as prior to doing the adjustments that we did in the editor, was 314. I don't remember what the torque was, but the horsepower was 314. So we can confirm that, I guess, as far as by loading up the default car. So let's load up this one, and we'll load up the Nismo. This is the non one that we edited. This is the one we didn't edit. This should be 314. 314, 285. So by putting it at 188 on the torque, we practically doubled the horsepower almost. I don't know if I want it that high or not for that engine. That's pretty cool, don't get me wrong, but I might want to go a little bit lower. So raise up the CX and lower the torque, I guess, as far as on that. I want to get it maybe somewhere right around 500 horsepower. I think it would be reasonable. Now, we got to consider just base power, right? Just base power. We want it to be a little bit higher than this, right? So 6400 at 314 at 6400. I think we can probably go down on the torque and back up on the CX, I guess, as far as to kind of balance that out. That's not the showroom floor. Oh, I got you. So you're talking about the showroom floor. So maybe I'm a little bit confused, I guess, as far as how. So the salon, that value, I guess, as far as it just means what'll load up in here, right? I think I get what you mean there, Jack, though. 550, I was going to say 550. Yeah, I was thinking right around, maybe 525, maybe 550. I think it would be pretty cool for base power, and then you would have all kinds of room, I guess, as far as to put the performance parts to that V6. So if I understand this right, the salon value, I guess, as far as what you put in the config, allows the car to spawn in these spots. Welcome in there, Brent Lindemann. What's going on today? How's the day going? So yeah, this one here is, like he says, not the showroom floor. So this doesn't count, I guess, as far as for the salon. So we can still load the cars up this way. We can't buy it this way, I don't think. This just lets us look at it. This is just like a car preview type of thing. So, but again, if we did want that car of our special, I guess, as far as for the Nissan 350 special, if we wanted it to load in here, we could add that salon option if we wanted to. We could buy it that way. I think I'll just not do that. I think I kind of like it the way it is. We'll just have to look for it. So anyway, that's one way, I guess, as far as to be able to see where we're at. So we're at 600 and... Let me put that trim back up in there again. 609 was it on our special? I think we want to bring that down just a tad. On our config value. So this is their special. 609. We want to bring that down a little bit. Down on the torque and a little bit more up on the CX. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go ahead back to the garage. We'll go back to the editor and we'll change some values. Doing great today? That's good to hear there, Brent. We're expecting a little bit of active weather. We got some... I still got the weather on my TV screen. I got the streaming, I guess, as far as the weather. We got some pockets of some very nasty thunderstorms. Even as I'm speaking here, I don't know if y'all can hear it, because as far as there's thunder booming, I guess, as far as to the west of me. So it may or may not be an abbreviated whatever Wednesday today. We'll see how it goes. I'm keeping an eye on the weather. So far, it's okay. We're just getting a lot of thunder booms. That's about it. But nothing showing up so far. So what we want to do is go back into the editor. Yep, we're fine there. Let's go back into the editor and let's change some values. This is kind of more of a fun way, I guess, as far as like, so irregardless if you can get an engine of choice, I guess, as far as into the car to be able to get, you know, the horsepower that you want out of it to make it kind of comparable to the type of engine that's in there. As long as you don't go crazy, I guess, as far as, I've seen a lot of configurations that go crazy, like say this engine and make it to where it's got like 1,000 horsepower at the base. I think that's kind of silly. That's very unrealistic, but it is possible to do that. I don't like to do that though. That's not my flavor, I guess, as far as to make an engine that shouldn't have as much base powers as some of these configs that I've seen do have. So what we want to do is load up our special. Like so, and then go into other. We want to bring this down. Now we don't want to come down too much. We're at 609, so I'm thinking if we want to go like 550 at the base, I'm thinking if we do this at a 178, that might be pretty close. So like I said, it's roughly. Now, in this car, it seems to be a little bit different because that almost doubled the horsepower by putting it this close to 2. On the inline 6 for the, or take that back, the Renault Clio engine. So I think all these different engines that are built into the car have their own parameters, their base parameters. These are just modifiers to that base value. So I think it's going to definitely depend on the type of engine that you're trying to apply. The torque mod and the CX2 is going to depend. You just have to load it up into the game and see where it's at and see if that's what you want. But I think if I set this one to a 7.8, that should bring it down to roughly the 550 range. I could probably even maybe go 7.5. I'll do 7.5. And this one we want to go back up. So it was originally 0.33. I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it to a 2.8. I feel like that should be a nice balance between what we brought this down and bring this back up. So for every 10th, for example, that you bring this back up or down, you want to do 100th, I guess, as far as up or down on the CX. You don't want to go too crazy with this number as far as down or up. And I've seen some pretty crazy ones myself. I think really no more than 0.5 on this value and no lower than, say, a 0.2. Seems to be pretty reasonable. Yeah, if you do something like that as 0.01 on this, for example, you get some crazy horsepower, I guess, as far as on any given engine. So I think that's something you can take into consideration when you play around with these values. Now, as we've seen, going back, I guess, as far as to the Mitsubishi Eclipse, I guess, as far as that torque mod that was applied, it had next to 3.3, I guess, as far as on the torque, but you look and see how much base power that you get and how much performance that you add to it too. it's a little bit wild, I guess, as far as, so just take those type of things into consideration when you're applying these values to whichever car, I guess, as far as you want to do it to. Alright, so we're going to go with these values here. We're going to save it. That's on our special. And now we'll go back into the game. 585 horsepower, 565. Are you doing some math there? Is that what you're doing? You have had another thought. 480 would allow for performance bars without being OTT. Right, right. That was something I was thinking of. You know, even 500 horsepower would be pretty cool. That way it would leave you room, I guess, as far as to apply performance parts to it to get that additional power, that additional horsepower. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. So we're going to load this up into play. Let's go into our playthrough. We'll go back to the salon and check it out. So if my math is, I'm thinking if my math is right, we should be maybe right around that. Keeping in mind that this engine was originally at a 1 on the torque mod and a 0.33 on the CX. Okay. I'm trying to remember what that CX stood for, but it does tend to... It's kind of like the CX value is kind of... so if you adjust this to CX by itself, it doesn't do anything to horsepower. The torque mod really does play into that. So those two values, what I've come to find as far as will help, because your torque is not necessarily, like, you can make your torque be the same as your horsepower, right? So if you get the CX, for example, let's say you put the torque at a 2 and you're getting 400 horsepower on an engine. Just throwing some numbers out there. And you want to have the same amount of torque as the horsepower, then you would put your CX at a 0.5, or even I take that back, a 0.1. That would be a 1-to-1 as far as horsepower. So just to kind of put it into perspective is what that CX will do. So the higher you make that number from 0.1 on the CX, will lower the amount of torque, I guess, as far as that you get in comparison to horsepower. That's roughly the way to put it. So definitely if you put your CX at a 0.1 and you're getting your horsepower, whatever value you put the torque mod at, and you're getting 400 horsepower, you'll get 400 horsepower and 400 torque if you put the CX at 0.1. So that's part of the reason why you want to increase, I guess, as far as the CX to lower the amount of the torque. Now, if you want a 1-1 on that, then go ahead and do that. I have never heard too much of an engine. Maybe the Koenig's, possibly, as far as the CCX. The CCX, I think it has a 1-to-1, or one of them does. I forget which one it is now. I think it is the 1, I guess, as far as it has a 1-to-1, I guess, as far as on torque and horsepower. Look at this real quick. So 2183. Okay, so it's not that one. This is this the one? That is the one. So this one gets 2183 and 1014 is factory power. We got the performance parts on it though. So 1500. Okay, this is what I wanted to look at here. So that's not a 1-to-1. So I'm guessing, just based on what the information that we have here, 2183 horsepower, 1576 measured torque. The CX on this one is probably, what's the differential there? I got to do some math. So 2183 and subtract 1576. That's a difference of 607. So the CX on this one is probably, that's a big differential. That's got to be pretty high on the CX there. It's probably like a 0.4, 0.5, something like that. If I had to guess, we could look at it in the editor to confirm. But it's a 607 differential between the horsepower and that. So I would have to guess that CX is pretty high. It might even be like a 0.6, or closer to a 0.6. I'll have to look at that one and see. So that's the Thor Hammerdoll. Yeah, so that's the default name for that. So we'll have to look at that one in the editor too. Anyway, so let's go to the salon real quick. We got a couple things going on here right now. It changes when you change values on the right side of the screen. What do you mean the right side of the screen? I don't know what you mean by that. Let's go over to our auctions. Nope, we want the salon. Yeah, so I think at least that gives me a little bit more clarity as to what that salon value in the config does. Just doesn't allow the car to spawn in, I guess, as far as in these locations here. In fact, what is this one? Oh, that's a Hyundai Tiburon. Never mind. I was gonna say, is that a Mitch? Almost freaked me out there for a second. So let me look at. Okay, so we need a Nissan. So it's down here last time. Let's see if it's down here again. Should be down there. Yep, same spot. When we want to load up our special, we should be right around what we want to have. We put it at a 1.78 on the torque and 2.8 on the CX. Okay, it doesn't matter which color. What are we at now? 565. That's actually pretty good. That's not too bad right there. 493 on the torque. Yep. So I think that's pretty good. I like that ratio. So 6540 on the RPMs to get that much horsepower. You can see the curve right there too. That's not horrible for base power. Now, what we can get as far as performance, that's still yet to be seen. You have to build that this particular engine for that car to be able to. And we could definitely take the engine that we already built, that we already have on the lift there, pull that one out and put it into this car once we find it, just to see what kind of horsepower we get. The right side where all the values. Oh, I don't even pay attention to that. I don't even look at that. I probably should. So I just like the way my brain works, I guess, as far as I do the math in my head. So yeah, I know there's values over to the right side like you're talking about. I don't usually pay attention to that. So yeah, I do know it does change that stuff, but I don't pay attention to that. This is looking pretty decent though. Based on, this is very comparable to what I tried to do, I guess, as far as with the Renault Clio engine, I guess, as far as that we put into our special config for the BMW Pro car to get to relatively the same as the inline 6 that normally comes with that. That's just pretty much the same approach we took. I kind of like that. I like this value on that one, so I might leave it there. The only other thing we got to do is try and find that car. Because it definitely doesn't spawn in here in the salon. And I wouldn't want to buy it that way anyway. It's kind of fun looking for them. Thrill of the hunt and all that. Alright, so let's go back to the garage. And we got to see if we can find this car. Oh, no, I get you there, Jackdaw. Again, I'm a little bit more traditional, I guess, as far as when it comes to knowing how the values work, right? And I know it does tell me, I don't like, things already computed for me, if you will. I like to understand, I guess, as far as where these values come from and how that works. Why is it doing what it's doing, for example? That's just the ABCs of me. Don't have to like it, but yeah, that's fine if you don't. We wanted to look in the editor. Let me go to the editor real quick. I want to look at that Hammerdoll Thor, I guess, as far as, and see what the CX's value is, just to kind of get an idea. So I still got this up on the calculator here. So let's go to the editor. Let's go back to the editor. See what we got here. Let's load this up. I need some. Cool. Alright, so we're going to load up the Hammerdoll. I think it should be in here. Hammerdoll Thor. That's the default name. This guy right there. And we want the Thor, which is this guy. This is our one that I believe life changes over. Now this engine, what's the CX at? Kind of curious. So this one's only at a 0.37. That's not as high as I thought it would be. So yeah, these values are what you're talking about over here. I don't generally look at those, but I get what you mean. what you mean. So the fact that it'll tell you over here as far as what kind of torque and all that stuff by putting those values onto here, it'll tell you right over here. I like to figure that in my brain first, just as far as before. But yeah, that does give you a little bit of a clue too, just as far as what you get based on the value. I figured this CX would be a lot higher. So I don't know if there's other values in here that necessarily will affect, I guess, as far as the CX, besides just the torque and the CX. Not 100% sure. But yeah, I get what you mean, over here. Yeah, it'll tell you 100% what you're going to get values-wise. This one's 114 horsepower. Okay, where does it show the torque? Okay, what I'm not seeing is how much torque. I see how much the torque value is, which is a 1. Peak. 1014 would be the base. Okay, so that would only show you just the base. It doesn't show you how much torque you get. So we'd have to look at that in the game. But it will show you the horsepower just as far as based on which values you put there. That's informational. Okay. I see where you got that value for. So if we load up our, do that again, Ribbsan, you can definitely just look there instead of, that's another thing I like to do, just load it up in the salon and actually see that it comes, it loads up into the game properly, because the editor is obviously separate from the game. That's maybe just another excuse as to why I like to figure it out myself and actually check it in the salon to see if it actually is going to load in like what it says in here. So we can confirm in here now what we saw in the salon. Let's do that. Always helps, in my opinion, I guess, as far as to have two sources of information. So just to ensure, I guess, as far as both are going to be the same. It kind of goes along the lines of not putting all your eggs in one basket. So this one does show, yep, you get 565 based on the values. And that's what we were definitely seeing in the salon, based on these values here. So if we were to change this, for example, if we wanted to get it to 550, I'm going to bring this down to 17. That gets it down to 549. So yeah, that gives you an idea. It doesn't tell you the torque necessarily, but we know it's going to be lower than that because we don't put this value to a 0.1. Yeah, it would be nice if it would show in here what kind of torque you get out of it, based on that. That seems to only show, I guess, just in the game itself. So it'll show you the value, I guess, as far as for the torque that you have on here, but it doesn't show you how much torque you'll get based on that horsepower. So that'd be nice if that information would show. So 1010 nanometers, is that what it was showing? Maybe I was looking at the wrong value. That show the nanometers in there? I'm not seeing it. Unless you're just converting it, I guess, as far as from horsepower to nanometers yourself. I'm not seeing the nanometers in here. Yeah, maybe I'm overlooking it, but I don't see it. I see the torque modifier, but I don't see the actual torque value. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the actual torque value. That's what I was trying to point out. It doesn't tell you the torque value, so the horsepower does, but not the torque. It's after torque. Where? Am I overlooking this? Oh, so right here. I was looking for a separate line. I was looking at horse. Okay, I see it now. Well, 549 horsepower, and then torque is right next to it. See, I was looking for a separate line. That's why. Excuse me. Brain wasn't. It's always looking for a separate line for torque. So they're both in the same line. I see. Well, it's 650 nanometers, which is. So it was coming up when we looked at it in the salon. I don't know what 650 nanometers is. You have to convert that. So it should definitely be less than 549. So whatever 650 nanometer is, you'd have to convert that to. So let me put it back here real quick. I'm going to see something. So 78. This is what we wanted it at. All right, so put it there. Whoa. What happened? We had 565 last time. What did I do wrong here? That is not what we had. We had 565 last time. What did I do wrong? 77. 572. How did I get the 565? Or was it 17? I think it was 17. That's right. Oh, that's not it either. What the heck did I do? I broke it. There's the 565, so it was 175. There we go. Yeah, so it does show the torque here, but it shows it in nanometers, which would be less than the 565 horse. Right. 650 nanometers. That's where we're at. We're 669 nanometers. So what is it, the conversion to nanometers? I already know that the torque should be less than the horsepower. That's all I know. So the fact that it shows it the other way around in this stat, that kind of throws me off a little bit, because I know that in the game it's going to show the torque being less than the horsepower, just based on that CX value. That's kind of nice though, just to know. But again, I also definitely like to take into consideration to change it here. See that this same value will load the same way in the game, which we already confirmed with these values. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna save it again. Not gonna hurt anything. Cool. Now we just gotta find that car. Yeah, I wish it would give more of an indication in here, I guess, as far as what it would show in the game. Which, like I said, the torque would be less than the actual horsepower, the value anyway. So let's put this to the main menu. Now we gotta save. 1 foot-pound is, yeah, I was trying to think of what that conversion was. It's been a while since I've had to do those types of conversions. The one thing I do know, like I said, I guess as far as that, the torque is usually lower than the actual horsepower. Okay, let's do that. 1 nanometer is, so okay, that was what I was thinking. I was doing some calculations while I was transferring over here. I knew it was this less than 1. That's what I did know for sure. That's actually almost 3/4. Yeah, so 0.73. I was okay. So my math is almost as. You probably looked that up. I'm sure you did, but appreciate that there, Brent. I did know it was. I was thinking it was probably more. It was closer to like 0.8. My value, but there you go. Again, that kind of puts it in perspective, I guess, as far as we know that the torque value is less than. But by how much? And that's the value. It's by almost so 75% value, I guess, as far as of the horsepower. That's roughly. So it's coming back to me, I guess, as far as the way I learned it for displacement when I was in the service. I'm going back to my annex, I guess, as far as when they taught us how that works, I guess, as far as torque and horsepower. Okay, so we want to load this gameplay back up here. let's get back in the game and see if we can find this darn car now. Yeah, baby. Okay, what do we got here? I guess we're going on a hunt for this this special car. This as far as for the Nissan 350Z Special. That's what we're doing. That's the name of the game today. Wait a minute. What is all this stuff I got in here? I did not do any cleanup in my inventory after working on that 350Z on Monday. We still got this engine here to fix up. So yeah, definitely what I'm thinking of doing is we're still working on this car, looking for that special one. We can take this engine, since it's basically the same engine in our special, with all the performance parts, gearbox, all that stuff, and put it in that car and see what we get as far as horsepower. So this way, in the original Nismo configuration, we've been able to get it to not even close to the base power of what we modified our special. This isn't even close to the base part. Now, granted, we still got room for performance parts on this engine, right? But this one's not even at the base power for that special one we just made. So, there you go. Let's see if we can find this car, though. Let's check out... I'm going to do a salvage auction. Let's try the salvage auction. Let's see what we got there today. Man, all this dead air. Take the dead air. Let's check out... Let's see what we can find in here first. So we're looking for a Nissan 350Z Special. Nissan 350Z Special. So there's our Supra. That's our V8 Special. We did entertain, I guess, as far as getting a... we did try on our Mechanic Monday, I guess, as far as getting an OG Viper. But I think we're in... we need to stay focused on a 350Z Special. Yeah. So nothing in this auction. Go back through it again. We got one of these stock one, I guess, as far as in our own garage. Kind of a cool body style. Yep, no 350Z here, so let's try the salvage auction. There's our test car. I've been doing some more work on that one, I guess, as far as in the off stream. It's still very, very work in progress, but so there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse Mark IV. That's not what we want. We want a 350Z Special. 350Z Special. So that's an Opel. Why? Audi. BMW Pro Power Special. That's going to be the one with the beefed up Renault Clio engine, the V6. That turned out pretty good, actually, for considering. Porsche Carrera. Yeah, so we didn't get as lucky today, I guess, as far as to be able to find a Nissan 350Z. At least that's salvage, the auctions here. So nothing in here. Let's go to the junkyard. We can check a barn. Let's actually check a barn. I think that's going to be a good one. We'll check out a barn. You know it has that option in the config to find her in the barn. We are on the hunt, folks. Let's put those 4-leaf clovers and the cross fingers out there. Gets the first to hopefully find ourselves a 350Z Special. Oh yeah, let's see here. Let's do, there we go. That's more better. Let's do a barn. Got well over 100 yet. Let's see what we find at the barns. What do we have in the barn today? Okay. Rocker R&B? I don't need that. I gotta get that out of there. I didn't mean to have that in there. That was from working on that one we have on the lift. That's already done. Alright, so what kind of cars we got in here today? that is not what we're looking for. Back here. That's definitely not what we're looking for. Got one more car in here somewhere. What we got over here? We've got a... Is that a Mosquito? Yep, Mark 6. So definitely don't have the car that we're looking for in this barn. Definitely gonna look for the crate though. Where the crate at? Let's not leave empty-handed. Yeah, so Nissan 350Z Special is what we're looking for. That's the front of the barn here. Okay, we'll start from over here. Front of the barn. Looking for that crate. Give me a crate. Something tells me, based on what I've already checked here, it's going to be in the back corner. That crate is going to be in the back corner. Yeah, we will check out a junkyard. We just know for a fact that the ones at the junkyard are usually in pretty rough shape. Pretty rough shape. They're going to need a lot of work. We're just keeping that in mind. But we'll do some round robins here, just as far as see if we can find that 350Z. Special. That's around the Impala. Alright, we'll crate there. So, not in the back corner. At least over here, anyway. Alright, let's try this corner. Give me crates. Me want crate. Oh, great. Honestly, feels like it's been a while, I guess, as far as since we checked out a barn. Been doing a lot of just tweaking on the cars that we already have. Double check these again. Okay, so nothing in there. Confirmed. That's around these two cars. We know what's in here. Just gotta find it. He's in here somewhere. Where are you at, crate? Oh. Okay. Wasn't in the back corner like I thought it would be, that's for sure. Maybe this back corner? No. Okay, what about over here? Trying to do it somewhat systematic, you know. So that's all that corner. Oh, son of a gun. Did I miss a pile somewhere? We're right back at this car. Nothing in that pile. Where are you hiding, crate? Don't be shy. Okay, so we're gonna have to check more in the middle. So, nothing there, nothing there. So I think we missed something maybe in the middle. There's the front of the barn up there. I know I already checked that. Probably gonna be a really dinky small pile. Something really small. Dirty rascal, where you at? Okay, front of the barn again. We already checked those. I feel like I checked every pile. Apparently I didn't, because if I did, I'd have a crate. Already checked around the Impala, yep. Wonder if somebody hit it up in the roof. Did I hit it up in the roof? Dirty rascal, where you at? This is a lot of work. Okay, this is around that. We already checked though here. Where the heck is this thing at? Yeah, we definitely already checked here. Oh my god. Gotta be a small pile like that, I guess, as far as that we missed. Yeah, it's gonna be a small pile. What I'm thinking. What are you hiding at? Dirty rascal. I'm beginning to think there isn't one in here, but we know there is. We've already checked that one. There's gotta be a small pile here somewhere. What the heck, dude? Back at the Camaro. This is the middle of the barn. Back here? Nope. Where in the world are you at, dude? Oh my god. Well, this is crazy. I know darn well that we checked all the files and we're back at the front of the barn. That's crazy. You know what? I'm done. I don't have time for this crap. We gotta look for a car. So we're leaving without a crate. I checked every pile. Somebody hid that pretty good. I think they might have put it up in the roof. That's what I'm thinking. I did 2 rounds around that barn. That's 2 times enough. 2 times enough. I know a lot of you are thinking you didn't look hard enough. You can think whatever you want. It's okay. Okay, so we're gonna check out a junkyard next. So we'll just do a round robin. We'll go. We'll do the auctions, do the barn, and then the junkyard. If we don't, let's go in that order. I've given more than once now. Yeah, I know. So we know that's in there, but I did at least twice around in that barn. Still didn't find it. So junkyard. Let's see what we got here at the junkyard today. Okay, no brake servos. What kind of cars we got in here today? Okay, why the heck? Hold on. There it goes. I don't know why that wasn't playing. Gotta have my junk finding music on. Well, nothing here. Nothing there. Pretty slim pickings on the cars here today. Nothing under the canopy. Okay, we finally got a car over here, but that's not what we're looking for. Nothing on the hill. Definitely not the car we're looking for. Anything down the alley? You know, we've had pretty good luck, I guess, as far as finding stuff down the alley when we create these new configs. I should have probably did that first. We've had lots of luck coming to the junkyard and finding it in that alley. So this is definitely not the car we're looking for either. Okay, so not the cars that we're looking for in the junkyard today. Confirm. Alright, so we'll just check these piles here by the gate before we leave. If we do come across the map, we'll take it. If not, not a big deal. We got over 100. Got over 100. Try to keep this as expedient, I guess, as far as finding this car that we're looking for. Alright, nothing in those piles. Head back to the house, empty-handed. So far, we're batting 0. We're batting 0 for the time being. We need some more luck out there. And give us some more luck. More luck. Clovers. Yes. Nuggets. Yes, nuggets. Don't forget the nuggets. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That might be what we'll have for, probably having nuggets for dinner. It'll be chicken tenders. So I guess that's kind of like a nugget. So we're going to go check out the car auctions again. We're back to those. Let's go check out the car auctions again. Let's see what we got here today. Full belly for added luck. Yeah, let's see if that helps our chances here. We'll check out the car auctions. So we're looking for a 350Z, Nissan 350Z Special. $350Z Special. I keep seeing these here, and it almost looks like the same body style in that. Not the one though. Got our Supras, V8 Special, and a turbocharged. Mitsubishi Eclipse. No 350Z. So at least in this auction we got nothing. Let's check out this. Got a lot of Toyota Supras. Different trims. Supras, a lot of Supras. Holy smokes! Why can't I get a 350Z? Please and thank you. No, so nothing in the auction. So I think the picture is similar to the Supra. Can't remember if it's an orange car. I know that's what initially loads up as a silver, I think, because I'm going by what it went when it loaded in the salon, or when we loaded it up that way. So I think it's more of a silver car, similar to like the Supra. So yeah, definitely not seeing it. Okay, we'll check out a barn. We'll check out a barn. Holy mackerel. Man, we got some really nasty weather as far as the west of us right now. Give me a second here, folks. I keep hearing the thunder booms to the west. Okay. Give me just a second here, folks, before we go and check out a barn. It's very spotty, but it's yeah. Okay. Ooh. Based on the forecast here, we're looking to probably maybe end this thing about 5 o'clock. That's going to start to get really nasty here. That's what they're forecasting. So, okay. We got some work to do. We got some work to do, I guess, as far as to find ourselves this thing. So, word of the wise, folks, I guess as far as that are tuning in here, we'll probably stay on, well, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Probably prior to that, probably getting off this thing here, because it's supposed to get, we're starting to get really nasty with the thunder boomers, I guess, as far as at that time. So that's just wanted to confirm that. So let's go check out a barn. Yeah, we got some pretty nasty stuff coming, I guess, as far as closing on the 5 o'clock hour. We got some time here, though. I don't know why my transition music doesn't play there. Play! Thank you. Something anyway. Anyway, so what kind of cars we got in this barn today? This is an interesting barn. I mean, this is a real barn. Check that design out. And this is what I call a barn. Alright, so what kind of cars we got in here? We got not what we're looking for. Definitely not what we're looking for. So that's 2. What's the third one? Definitely hiding the third one. And definitely not what we're looking for. Nope. So, okay. Let's see if we can find the crate in this one. We got better luck with finding the crate in this one. Still coming up short, I guess, as far as with the 350Z. We already left one barn empty-handed, I guess, as far as completely empty-handed. We don't want to do that this one if we can help it. Oh, okay, we got everything there. Work our way back up to the front of the barn. Oh. Nothing there? Nope. Yeah, there's nothing hiding back over there. Man, these crates are being very mysterious today. A lot of times we find them in these types of piles. If it's not those, it's one of these. Okay, so front of the barn. Oh my goodness, we gotta come up short-handed in this barn too? Hope not. Luck is not on our side today, for some reason. Okay, back at the front of the barn. Oh, this is not looking good. Not looking good. What about over on this car? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's around this car. We're gonna come up short again today on this barn? What the heck, dude? These crates don't want to be found today. You've got to be kidding me. That's all the piles. I went all the way around. Loop-de-loop. This is the second time around. Oh, you know what? I don't think I checked this room. Hold on a minute. I didn't check this room. There we go. Okay, we finally found it. Yeah, we definitely didn't check this room. Whew, I thought maybe for sure we're gonna end up empty-handed again. Okay, at least we got our crate. Set that back to the house. Gonna say, something's gotta turn around here for us. Alrighty then, so still on that hunt for the 350Z special. We're gonna open up our crate here just as far as really quick before we go on to I guess the junkyard. Yeah. Eeny meeny miny mo, catch a tigger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny meeny miny mo. Yes, I'll take those credits. Eeny meeny miny mo, tigger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny meeny miny mo. And another crate, get another chance. Get me some more credits. Credits. Eeny meeny miny mo, catch a tigger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny meeny miny mo. Okay, we'll take our barn map back. Eeny meeny miny mo, catch a tigger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny meeny miny mo. Credits, yes. 11 credits. Alright, so we'll take our map, put that away. Junkyard. Junkyard is next. Round robins, I guess, as far as trying to find this 350Z special. We got plenty of nuggets and clovers and cross fingers. Something's got to turn around for us here. All right, so what kind of cars we got in here today? What do we got? Nothing there. That's not the car we're looking for. Ooh, we got a Constantine out here. That's a 1. Nice. Very nice. So, not what we're looking for. Pretty cool though. Nothing in that spot. Got those 2 cars there. Okay. Under the canopy. Ooh, we got a C1 supercharged. About the only trim I don't like of that car. Nothing on the hill. Nothing in that corner. Nothing in that spot. What about the alley? That is not what we're looking for. What do we got back here? That's one of those sprinters. That's partner, that's right. Sprinter, partner, you know, same thing. Yeah, nothing under those aisles. Nothing in this spot. Okay, so far we're coming up empty-handed in this junkyard as well. So nothing there, nothing on the porch, nothing there. Okay, check these 3 piles, few piles as far as by the gate. See if anything good, and move on to another auction. We're bound to find one sooner or later. Thrill of the hunt. Okay, nothing in these piles. Empty-handed at the junkyard again. Alright, we get to check out another auction. I'm kind of curious to see what we get horsepower-wise, I guess, as far as if we put that performance one we already have built in it, once we do find it. I think that's going to be cool, kind of cool. Find that out. Okay, we're gonna go check out an auction. Gotta remember to save this configuration too, now that I think of it. We'll do that post stream. So, 350Z special. Come on now, be good to me. Be good to me. We got a lot of Corvettes. Holy smokes. C3, C4. Nope, so nothing here. What about here? Ooh, I saw the orange there. I got excited. That's a Supra. Egg-nabbit anyway. Come on now. Yeah, everything but. Porsche Carrera. Mitsubishi Eclipse. We're finding a lot of these too. Between that and the Supras. Oh, 350Z. Son of a gun. This is bumming me out. Definitely bumming me out. Okay, so nothing here. Okay, so another barn coming up. So we did gain a barn, I guess, as far as going to the junkyard and that crate, so we're good there. Definitely good there. Round robin trying to find the 350Z Nissan. Oh yeah. I'm just thinking of all the things I want to do once we do find it. Regardless of where we find it. Okay, checking out another barn. So as we know, I guess as far as we will definitely try to look for the crate if we don't have the car that we're looking for in there. So if you're feeling like a little bit of a ping pong ball, I guess as far as it's understandable. We got a test car in here. That's one of my test cars. That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, I still haven't made this one, I guess, as far as to where you can open the hood and all that there, but what I'm kind of really liking, I guess, as far as the way I did this one is the dirt mask and the rust on the car. It turned out pretty good. As far as the body of it, that turned out pretty good. To get that mapped, I guess, as far as properly. So that's definitely not something that we're looking for. That one. So we got this car, not what we're looking for. Is that a 442? Oh, it was Supreme. Okay. What else is in here? We got one more car. Come on, 350Z. That is not a 350Z. Definitely not a 350Z. Alright, so, you know what's next? We're gonna look for the crate. Looking for the crate. Wait, two files there next to each other. Trying to trick me. Okay, so not in this corner. Check that corner. Okay. Yep. There she be. I like it. Good deal. Alright, so we got our crate. Head back to the house. If it could happen that way every time, it'd be glorious. Just find it like lickety split. So we'll go back to the house here, open up our crate, see what we get, and check out another junkyard. So we know the car is good, I guess, as far as between the editor and we loaded it up at the salon. So we know it's there. We just gotta find this little bugger. Just gotta find that little bugger. Let's open up our crate. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a digger by the stove. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Credits. Love it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a digger by the stove. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And some XP. We're working our way up to level 94. We'll take our stuff and let's go to the junkyard. So we're kind of making up for all the junkyard and barn visits that we haven't done in a while. At this point. Whoa, why are you doing that? Don't be doing that. Alright, so what kind of cars we got here today? Nothing out front. Kind of worries me when we don't get a car up here in the front. Kind of makes the pick, I guess, as far as a little bit less like we're going to get what we're looking for. Nothing in those spots. Nothing on the canopy. Oh, slim pickings. Ooh, got something on the hill. That's a Pagani. Not what we're looking for, but that's a Pagani Hyra. That's just the base Hyra. Pretty cool cars. Not what we're looking for, though. Nothing there. Nothing down the alley. Nothing down the alley. Nothing in this spot. Okay, nothing in that spot. Oh, what do we got here? I think that's a Nissan Skyline. Yep. So, right manufacturer, wrong car. Right manufacturer, just the wrong car. Alright, let's check these files here on our way out. Nothing there. I'm mainly just looking for a barn map. If the barn map populates in there, we'll take it. Okay, nothing in these. Leaving home empty-handed. So just about every junkyard visit we made so far today gets as far as empty-handed. Same with the auctions. The only place we don't get leave empty-handed, other than one time, is the barn. Just the barns. Okay. Alrighty then, so checking on another auction. Okay, checking out another auction. Off to the auctions we go. For the, what, third or fourth part? I don't even know how many times. Yeah, has anybody been counting? I don't know if anybody's been counting. Probably better not to. 350Z special. You keep getting these Supras. So many Supras and Eclipses, but no gosh darn 350Z. Nissan, that's a Mitsubishi Lancer. Nissan Skyline, we didn't see one of those in the junkyard. Proper manufacturer, wrong car. Okay, so nothing here. Salvage. Another Supra. What are you trying to tell me here, game? Do you not want us to find one of these today? What's wrong with you? I'm feeling really bummed out. Not finding this thing. Supra. So many Supras. Oh! That's a Nismo, though. Oh. Well, it's a Nismo. It's not our special. We did finally get one, but it's not the one we need. That's a pretty rough shape, too. So it's not our... It's kind of crazy. This body piece here gets as far as it's not even... It's like it's brand new. That's funny. Yeah, so this one's just the Nismo. So it's not what we need, I guess, as far as for that. But at least we did finally find, I guess, as far as one of the trims of the 350Z. It's not the one we need. Okay, let's turn that back to the garage. So, coming up empty-handed still. Checked out both auctions there, so we're going back to another barn. Watch, we'll probably find one right at the 5 o'clock hour if we go that far. If we even go that long today, I guess, as far as just based on the pretty nasty weather we got coming in. Yep. Trying to go as quickly as we can with this, so we're checking out the barn. We got over 100. So we're getting there, closer and closer, I guess, as far as we found the Nismo. Just gotta find that special. It's got to be the special. Ooh, so that is not, that's a... So this is one trim I do like of this Camaro, this old school Camaro. It's pretty solid. It's definitely not what we're looking for, though. So it's right out here in the front. Nice. Right out in the front. Front and center. And then we got a fake Camaro over here. Nice. Okay, what's the third car we got here? It's missing that quarter panel. That is not a 350Z. Nope. So we don't have the car that we're looking for. See if we can find the crate. If anything, we're gaining ourselves some credits and all that stuff. Gets us first to potentially buy ourselves one of those 350Zs once we do find it. So, looking at the bright side. Looking at that bright side. And there we go, it's in the back corner. Sweet, I like it. Take our crate and go home. I had some pretty cool cars in there, I'll admit. I would definitely consider if we weren't on the hunt for this 350Z special. We'll get back to the house here, open up our crate, only get some more credits. Let's get some more credits, credits. Give me credits. Alrighty then. Let's see what we got here. So, great. Open that up. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, we'll take those. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ooh, get another crate. Another chance. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yes, thank you. Like it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Uh-oh. Try that again. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If you holler, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Go that one. And some more bonus points. So we're working our way back up to 30,000 of those. Yeah, that was barn. Going to a junkyard. How many times more are we going to have to do this until we find what we're looking for? I don't even know how many it is. It's probably a good half a dozen times now. We've gone to each place. And we're still empty-handed. How many times is it going to be? Alright, nothing out front. So just about every visit we've had so far, we have nothing out front. I'm going to go this way. Nothing out front. Kind of a bummer. What do we got over here? You know, we haven't been checking over here. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought maybe that was... that body style is so much similar. I think I've been missing looking at this spot. Yeah, I haven't been checking that spot. Nothing over there. Nothing on that hill. Yeah, I can kind of kick myself a little bit. I think I've been missing to check that spot there over that Yamaha EV concept was. That's not the one we're looking for. And down the alley. Oop. Nothing there. Nothing on the hill. Nothing there. Left canopy. Is that another cone snake? Pagani Hyra. So we did find a Hyra on the hill, I guess, as far as last time we were here. Now it's down over here. Okay, so nothing in this spot. Nothing over here. No Nismo or no Nissan 350Z special. Bummer. Alright, let's check these piles here by the gate. Junkyard's been a bummer today. So, salvage auction has definitely found us at least a Nissan 350Z, but it was the Nismo. Junkyard's definitely been a bummer today. Big time bummer. Alright, let's head back to the house. Going back to the auctions. Auctions are on the docket. One more time. No, not one more time. We gotta find this car. We have to find this car. I gotta remember at the junkyards to check that one spot that Yamaha EV concept was. I think I was missing to check that one on our previous visits. Might have missed an opportunity there. Okay, so nothing there, just make sure. So, car auctions. Come on, come on, come on. We did see one at the salvage auction for the Nismo, so stands to reason we should be able to find a special. Okay, here we go. So, the color of the car was orange. I guess that's what we look for, is an orange car. Oh! You see what I see? Knew it had to happen sooner or later. Now it's just a matter of how much we're going to get this thing for. We got to get it. We got to try to get it. So it looks like it's black. That's pretty cool. So it's a 3-star. I think that's what I saw. But probably don't start. Probably doesn't start, which doesn't matter. But it does. It is going to determine how much we want to buy it for. Yep, definitely doesn't start. So it is a 3-star, and most of the 3 stars don't start. That's confirmed. Oh baby. Okay, we gotta try and get this guy. So my bid is 37,831. I don't even care if it goes over that. We gotta get it. We gotta get it. But definitely want to try and get it below that. Of course. I do some quick bids. Get them off the tail there. It's gonna go over. It's going over. Going over. Went over. Nope, it's mine. Give it to me. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this sucker. Oh, this dude's making me pay for it. Oh, this dirty rascal. Holy mackerel. 20,000 over the estimated. Doesn't matter. We got it though. Cool. So let's put that in the garage. We got our 350Z special. Ta-da! All right, now we gotta take it back to the house. I feel like we paid too much for it. Some people are just jerks at the auction in that regard, but at least we did get it. So cool. Let's go check this out. I didn't even get official count how many that was. What do we want to think about it? Let's not even think about it. The good thing is, as far as we did find one before too long. We'll just leave it at that. We did finally find one at auction. So it should be outside here. Okay, so we know it doesn't start. It is the special. Like it's mostly yellow. At least at that thing in there. 565 horsepower, that's what we set that to. Oh yeah. Cool, so let's see if we can actually get this thing running. So what's going on with this? So let's do compression test. Okay, so it's only yellow there. Not too bad. Now, something is making this not want to start. So, is it just low on oil? Is that all it is? We're going to check everything else out first. Let's do scanner. Let's make sure there's nothing in the red or the orange. Looks like it's mostly all going to be in the yellow. So, it must have just been low on oil. Oh, we got ignition coil. It's orange. That should not keep it from starting. So one ignition coil is iffy. Okay. Fuel system. Check our fuel system out. Okay, that's all good. Let's do our electrical tests. So it's looking like so far it's just the oil's low. Starter's iffy, okay. Still not terrible condition. I'll be dipped, so it's just probably the engine oil's low. So what we're gonna do, let's put some more oil in it. You know what? Let's check the dipstick here real quick first. I want to see where it's at. Okay. It's probably about a quart low. Put about a quart in it. That should work. Okay, so where are we at now? Cool. She's a little dirty, but, you know, it should be able to run now. Okay, so let's see if she starts now. There she go. Beautiful. Okay. Cut that off. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna swap some stuff around here so we can put the engine. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. How do I want to do that? I would really like to take the engine out of this one and slap it in there right away. I guess as far as just to check and see what we got. That's what I really want to do. Let's put. We're gonna swap. I'm gonna put this, put this over to B. And then this Pro car, we're gonna put outside into A. Yeah. That'll bring in the 350Z Special. Now we got both cars, just as far as that we're trying to work on here today. Sweet. Alright, so what we're gonna do... trying to think of how I want to do this. Do we just want to go ahead and build the engine the same? So my initial thought was to take this engine out and stick it in that guy. But what we could do maybe as far as just get that engine built much the same as this. So we already made the comparison based on the performance parts we got on this one. It's not even at the base level of this one that we made special. So we definitely got room for improvement. I'm just really curious to see as quick as possible what kind of power we'll get out of that having a similar engine. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this approach. Yep. Since we're kind of crunched for time, I'm going to pull this engine out of there and put it in here. We'll definitely probably get this one rebuilt the same level as that, but at least for now we already have that one built like that. So let's get this oil out of there. That oil was nasty anyway. It was nasty anyway. I mean, it doesn't look nasty there, but we know it's nasty. Okay, move that out of the way. Let's get this pulled out. Now I got some parts from, okay, it won't matter, shouldn't matter. I got parts that are still in my inventory, I guess, as far as that are related to that one that we worked on already. So let's get this off. If we can use some of those parts that we have in our inventory, we'll definitely need to do that. Okay, so that's drained. Get the drive shaft off. I think this will be the quickest way as far as to get what engine we eventually want to put into this car. By just swapping that out with what we already got built. Yeah, I think it'll work out. That'll work out fine. Okay, so that should allow us to pull this. Well, we're trying to get this one rolling for sure. Yep. See how quick we can get these engines swapped over. Let's get this over here. Pull that engine out. Now we're going to have two engines in the inventory after we do this. So we got the one original one from that car on lift B. Yep, got these two engines. So probably not really going to matter. We'll probably rebuild either one of those and or both to get that to performance level. So yeah, I don't think it'll really matter, I guess, as far as which engine we do that for on this one. It'll be fine. Okay, so let's take this one out, get the oil drained. I'm just really super duper curious as to how much horsepower we'll get out of that one, be it the base fellows at 565. Get your guesses out there ready, I guess, as far as what it might be. So for any of you that were sticking around and paying attention, I guess, as far as what we did to this special, you might have a pretty good idea of what kind of horsepower we'll get out of putting this engine in there. So let's do, we'll put it up for prediction. Move this out of the way. Okay, so this one's all performance parts, so that's going to be very discernible. Okay, I don't know if I want to put all the, I think I just want to get the engine itself. That's what I'm most curious for, I guess, as far as on this deal. Probably the engine and the transmission. We'll get that put into our special. Yeah. That'll get us a really good idea as far as how much more we get. So as I'm doing this, I'm kind of getting some ideas in my head for what kind of horsepower we'll get out of this thing. Okay. Let's get this pulled out. Alright, get our crane over here. to be or not to be. Okay, now let's get this over to A, and then we're going to put that performance engine into this one. That's going to be this one, 100% build. Ta-da! So that one's in there. Sweet. Now we got to get the bottom end buttoned up. So we'll put at least the performance transmission into it. I'll probably put this as stock exhaust. That should be fine. Wait a minute. Why is that not allowing for the performance? What the heck? Why is it not letting me put the... Hold on. I got a performance transmission. Or maybe I didn't do a performance transmission. Okay, hold on a minute. Did I not do... Yeah, right there. Okay, why is that not letting me put that in there? That's the same engine. Wonder why it doesn't let me put that one in there. That's interesting. Okay, we've had this problem before where it won't let us put the performance parts back into it. So what we might have to do, we got to go to the salon real quick. Yeah, we've had this problem before. Go to the salon real quick and we'll come back. That looks like a good average car. Sorry, I might have missed, I guess, as far as what you meant, as far as I got. Yeah, I think this turned out pretty good, I guess, as far for that. So this one, what is this guy? That's a Toyota Supra turbocharged, okay. Yep. Alright, let's go back to the house, and hopefully it'll let us put that performance transmission. Yep, not the first time we've had this problem with being able to put the performance parts into there. Sometimes it just requires to go to the junkyard or the salon or something like that and come back to the house. I don't know why this doesn't want to keep. Now you work. I got some things that are broken. It's okay, it's fine. Alright, so now hopefully it'll let me put the performance transmission into there. No. You dirty rascal. Oh well, we'll just go ahead and put this one in here, I guess, for now. I know it'll go in there. It's the same engine, but it's being kind of stubborn right now. So, yep. It's not letting us do any of the performance parts. I wonder... Hold on a minute. Let's go to Tune Shop. Trying some other things here. I don't know if it's going to be specific that maybe we got to go to the junkyard. Possibly. Yeah, but none of the performance parts are wanting to go on here. So, okay. Yep, they're not showing. That's fine. We'll just do these parts. I really just wanted to get the engine in there anyway. So, game's just trying to tell me. It's like you said, you only wanted to put just the back parts in there, other than the engine. So, game's just trying to show me up. That's all. That's fine. Okay, so starter. Don't forget the starter. So we do got the exhaust manifolds on the engine too. Alright, so based on what we just changed out there, folks. Okay, we got the performance engine into there. What is our guess, I guess, as far as of the horsepower? Before we even look at it, let's put this up for prediction. So 565 is the base. We just swapped the one from this car, that's 100% performance build, over to this one. So we still got stock exhaust, stock transmission. Okay, let me start a new prediction here. What will be the horsepower? Let's just do that. What will be the HP? And I'm going to guess 565 being the base, We were able to get it up to 538 from 314. So I'm going to say at least 200 horsepower more. So I'm going to say 765. I'm going to say 765. That's going to be my guess. That would be a pretty good deal. So we'll do 765. And then we'll do more than, oh my god, I can't type today. More than 765. More than 765. Or less than, if give you some options here. Less than. I think this should probably be pretty close to 765. Okay, we're gonna leave this up there for a minute. Give everybody a chance to use their sanity points. And prediction should be live. So before we look at it, we'll get the predictions in there. I'm going to clean out some of my inventory here while that's going on. So we're going to sell that. This is from working on the swapping out some of the performance parts on our other version of that. So the performance parts are right there. This won't let me put them in. Clean these up a little bit. Yeah, so these are what we had in there. We did have 100%. Yep, so we're good there, so we can sell these. I think 765. I'm really hoping for 765. How about that? 765 or more. That's what I'm shooting for. So that one came out of. So I think I put the drive shaft. I must have did the one for. Okay, so I gotta fix this one up. This fuel tank, we're gonna sell that. That one we can fix. Let's go fix the parts we can't fix. Okay, prediction is closed. Let's see how everybody did. Let's see how everybody did. So the winner is. Drum roll, please. I need a drum roll. Oop. We gotta get it on the dyno. That's what we need to do. Misremembered. Gotta get some oil back into it. So if you did your prediction, we're gonna get this over to the dyno. We'll find out for sure. Yeah, I forgot we gotta get it over to the dyno. I got so excited. I got so excited. I'm really hoping for at least 765. I think that would be a pretty decent guesstimation based on what we're able to get for this engine in the other version of the 350Z, the non-special. If you catch my drift. All right, so let's do that. See how much oil. Oil's good. Okay. Let's get this down on the ground. I did get the drive shaft in there, didn't I? I did. Okay. Lamination, I sure did. Just making sure. Okay. Get her over to the dyno. Okay. Man, we got some really nasty weather coming. I'm just looking at the weather report there. Alright, so let's get her going here. So what's gonna be the lucky number? You all got your prediction in there if you did join on that prediction? Okay, that wasn't actually too bad. Yo, Oz coming in.
Got you tabbed up as I work and learn.
Appreciate
Have
that there,
an epic
Oz.
time.
We'll definitely do that there, Oz. You do much the same. Appreciate the biddies. For those of you that haven't checked out Oz Pinark, as far as super high energy streaming, as far as likes to do superhero workouts and play a lot of games like 7 Days to Die, 7 Ways to Cry. I should get that right. Some Repo. He's done some Fall Guys, and games as such. So if you want to see any of those types of gameplay, definitely check out Ospinar next time he's on. Shall not be disappointed. But yeah, we did get under 765. There's the there's our true value. So pretty close, but not quite. I'm not disappointed, that's for sure. I was definitely hoping at least for 765. So let's choose the outcome of that prediction. It was definitely... Oh, I forgot to put... So if you did the last one there for less than, I meant to put 765. I boo-booed on that, so don't beat me up too bad. So, but it was less than, as you can see there right on the screen. So let's see how everybody did. Anybody join in on that? 200 went back to Jack. No, that was definitely less than. Not by much though. Not by much though. Pretty good guess there, Jack Dog. I mean, you've done enough of this too, I guess, as far as to kind of know. I'm super happy about that. I think this is going to be a really good runner here. I just wish it would let me put the rest of the performance parts on this thing. I need to figure out what we need to do to make that happen. We already went to the salon. I'll try going to the junkyard. See if maybe that'll fix it. Yeah, we might try that. Let's go put this back on A. Yeah, that was really close. You know, and again, I kind of went by the idea that we got roughly 200 horsepower more, give or take, I guess, as far as having it in this car, which had originally 314. Originally 314, we were able to get it at 538, so that's when I went by, I guess, as far as on my guesstimate for this one. So I think that's pretty comparable. The fact that this one gets a little bit more base power than that one does, I'm happy with it. So we can put this one back in there, though. And we'll probably start the build, I guess, as far as of making, building one of these engines for this car, this particular car. That'll be a good thing to do. Definitely feel like that was the quickest way to get that in the car, just to kind of see what we can, what the potential is there. All right, let's get this one back out though. Okay, it's doing that thing with the drive shaft again. Get the... Okay, get that off. Oh, it's doing that thing with the drive shaft again. Such a pain in the butt. There we go. Yeah, I think I put the drive shaft for that one we got on the ground, but it's okay. They're all interchangeable. Get that gearbox off of there. And that'll... Gotta drain the oil first. Don't forget to drain the oil. We don't want the mess on the floor. Get that over to A. Drain her back out. Super duper thrilled, I guess, as far as that result though. For this car. Okay, so that's out. Get that engine pulled back out and we'll put it back in that car. Wait a minute. Oh, so it must have been because it was still coming down. There we go. Okay, pull it out. Marvelous. Get this over to B. Or not to B. And slap it back in. That's going to be the only 100% build we have of that engine right there. So we got two engines to work on. One that came out of the one we just bought, and one for the original engine of this car. So we'll have two of those same types of engines. Okay. Now, need to button up the bottom end. Get this back to running order. Now it's probably not going to let me put those performance parts back in there as we saw. Okay, hold on. I hate when you do that. Try that again. It's going to let me put it in there? Nope. Alright, so what we're going to do... We'll try doing it with the junkyard really quick. Go to the junkyard and come back. Let's see what we got. There is an achievement for making a mess on the floor. There definitely is, and I don't want that one. I definitely don't want that one. I'm trying to run a safe, clean shop here. Emphasis on try. Whoops. So, we got anything? Nope. Let's see what kind of cars we got in here. Just a real quick run through. Main reason we came to the junkyard is to see if we can have our... That's an Audi? Yep, Audi R8 EG, nice. Nothing on the hill. Another Pagani? Did find a lot of Hyras in here. That's like a third junkyard visit we found a Hyra. Right around this area. So one was on the hill, one was here, and one was under the canopy. Crazy. Yep, nothing really that we're interested in for the time being. Alright, so let's head back to the house. Okay, hopefully that'll allow us to put our performance parts back on our 350Z. Yeah, we can start the process of building our new engine for our special 350Z for sure. We got all of our BMWs posted outside here. We got our M4 GTS Special. We got our 3 Series and our BMW Pro Car. Well represented out there. Okay, so let's see if it'll let me do it now. Will you let me do it now? Nope. Alright, so we're probably going to have to get completely out of the game and get that repopulated. No biggie. Let's go ahead and save this. For sure. This time we do want to save our progress. Go back to the menu. Already got it saved, so we're good. We'll head her back to the menu and get completely out, and we'll load her back up. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over here real quick. We'll be right back here in a second. Don't adjust your don't adjust your screen. We'll be right back. Gotta remember to save that config for later. Let's do. Oh, still closing down. Hold on. We're almost there, folks. Hang tight. I don't know why my music. Uh-oh. Got a cloud error, I guess, as far as on my... Uh-oh. Let me see if I can resync my cloud status here. So I got my cloud error on the Steam. That's not good. Gonna do it. Pay for it. I'm just waiting for my cloud status gets as far as to update here. Give me a second here, folks. Steam's being a little bit temperamental. Doesn't look like it's gonna do it. Uh-oh. Taking a little longer than expected. Nope, so I got a Steam cloud. Let me see if I can I'm gonna log out on my Steam and log back in. Hold on. Hold on, gotta fix my Steam. Gotta get my cloud back going here again. It's been a while since I've closed that out, so I need to do that. So let's get out of there. Go to my library. Let's see if that did sync back up there. Okay, it's showing up to date, so let's we'll give it a shot. See what's going on here. Okay. Switch it back over here. So just to kind of show you, I guess, as far as got a little bit of a cloud error, I guess, as far as on the Steam there. Hopefully they did save the progress. Cross the fingers. Luck has not been on our side, I guess, as far as for the most part there. It's been kind of a little bit on the edge, I guess, as far as with the luck today. Take a second here to load up. Okay, so I don't know how far I get into rebuilding the engine, I guess, as far as for our special config. It's looking like I got about 10 minutes or so. Okay, before we start getting really nasty on the weather. I can really start hearing, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Got the noise again on the background noise, I guess, as far as, but yeah, the thunder boomers are coming. Thunder boomers are coming. Alright, so let's see if this should let me do this now. Everything looks good, I guess, as far as the save. Alright, so it's going to let me put, there it is. Got our performance parts back. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all back in. Get our drive shaft. Yeah, we'll definitely get started. Probably won't finish it on the build, I guess, as far as for our special build. We will probably get back into it more than likely on Monday. We'll see how Thursday goes. We got some things going on, I guess, as far as for Thursday. We may or may not be on for tomorrow. Definitely stay tuned, I guess, as far as on the social medias, I guess, as far as whether or not we will be on for tomorrow. That's probably something I should definitely mention. We got some work lined up for us, I guess, as far as we got some projects going on. Trying to get something done, I guess, as far as before the weekend. Definitely gonna chew up a little bit more of my late afternoon. Alright, let's check our oil. That is good. Okay, so this car is back to running order. Sweet. Alright, so that one's good. What we are going to do is take one of these engines. Doesn't matter which of these two. And so that one's that way. This one is... yeah, it doesn't look like it really matters. Let's take this one. I don't remember which one it was for sure, I guess, as far as it came out of the one we just bought, but doesn't look like it really matters. So let's get this one pulled apart. And we do have some parts in our inventory already, I guess, as far as that we could potentially use on the build if necessary. We do know we're going to probably get brand new pistons and all that stuff for sure. Probably going to put a performance intake on it, much the same as the other build. So yeah, some parts will definitely be performance and some won't. I'm trying to remember for sure if I did put the performance cams. I want to say I did on that performance version of this engine. Don't remember for sure. Yeah, so probably for the most part we'll get this broke down, get it fixed up, and we'll have to continue this probably, well, Thursday we usually do our throwback playthrough, for most of you that you do know. So we probably wouldn't get back to this build, I guess, as far as until Monday, or Mechanic Monday, and that's okay though. Because good news is we will be getting back into it. Let's pull these all off. We gotta get that oil pan off to get that front cover off. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing the finished product of our Nissan 350Z Special. I guess as far as getting the performance engine into it. We're already in pretty good shape by... we checked out, we were able to get 725, I think it was, I guess, as far as what that performance went under. That was without a performance gearbox or exhaust or anything like that. Just the engine, basically. Now, that's also to consider, we did not do performance pistons. That's probably about the only internal part of the engine that we did not get performance on. It was the pistons. And I think we got pretty good results off of that just by doing that. Quite honestly. Okay, so let's get these chiming chains off. We're gonna get this broke down and get as much of this fixed up as we can in the time we got left, which at this point it's gonna be about 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, we're looking to probably end stream a little bit early, I guess, as far as today, just based on some pretty active weather we got coming in. Post fact of the 5 o'clock hour. I want to definitely make sure, I guess, as far as we got all systems down, I guess, as far as prior to us getting all that active weather. Yeah, if you can only hear, I guess, as far as the thunder booming going on in the background, holy smokes. Definitely sounded pretty nasty. He sounded pretty nasty. And for anybody that doesn't know me pretty well, it's like I am not one to mess around being on the PC, I guess, as far as when it's storming out. No thank you. I've had my fair share of troubles with having PCs getting fried in severe weather, especially when it is a lightning storm. So I always associate, even though it may not be, thunder does have lightning. So it's one thing, I guess, as far as when it's just cloud lightning, and it's another thing, I guess, as far as when it's ground, cloud to ground lightning. Doesn't matter. In my opinion, it does not matter. If there's lightning involved, if there's thunder booms, there's lightning, and I don't mess with that. Not one bit. Let's see, what are we missing here? Get this guy off. So I was confusing before, I guess, as far as that it had, those are rockers, I guess, as far as that are on the top, and then you got the piece that I just took off that holds in the cams, which are dual. I think I was confusing that before, I guess, as far as with the top rollers, the roller rockers being cams. So I probably have to correct myself, I guess, as far as I'm saying that. So these right here are the roller rockers here on the top, and that has the small caps. So I think what was confusing me is the fact that it has a cam cap on these rockers. I think that was probably what was confusing me when I initially took this apart. So just some clarification there is all. I wasn't intentionally trying to say the part's wrong. Okay, let's get these heads off. Yeah, so if we can get... So based on the time we got left here, folks, we'll probably just get it broke down. And probably get the these parts fixed up, I guess, as far as for next Monday. That's what it's looking like. But we did have a little bit of fun, I guess, as far as at least we did find the car finally, I guess, as far as to be able to do something with it. That's a plus. Didn't find it right away like we were hoping to do, I guess, as far as, but you know, it kind of works out, you know, the way it should have, I guess. We got really lucky, I guess, as far as a couple other finds, because going to the junkyard and finding it right away, that doesn't always happen. What we did experience today is definitely the way it usually goes. That's the way it usually goes. I'm super excited, I guess, as far as to be able to get this this engine rebuilt. Get some performance parts into it, and see if we can hit that 1,000 horsepower mark, I guess, as far as on it. I think we can. I'm pretty confident in the fact that we can hit that 1,000 horsepower mark on this engine build. Oh yeah. Okay, so what are we missing? Okay, there's the crank. And ready, put this right side up, and we'll do the engine block. All that's in good shape. Cool deal. Alright, so this is where I think I'm gonna call it good here, folks. Very much appreciated for everybody that did drop by here today. Appreciate the patience trying to find this car and working with me, I guess, as far as with the editor. It's always a pleasure. I had a lot of fun with that. I want to do some more of that too. It's kind of unfitting as far as we did not get a different engine option in it to make it an all-wheel drive or anything like that, but we were able to do some tweaks on it, at least anyway. So not terrible. You know, some cars you can do more with than you can with others. So this is just one example of that. I do hope everybody does have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. If you got any active weather, I guess, as far as happening in your area that I've got coming here to my west, definitely stay safe. And again, like I said, as far as we may or may not be on for Throwback Thursday for tomorrow. Yeah. Big Snowman, appreciate the follow. Yeah, we'll get them notifications when the streams are live next year. Like I said, we may or may not be on tomorrow. I will definitely try to let everybody know in the Discord, which we have those social medias posted to the channel. I'll go ahead and put these at your fingertips so you can check those out at your leisure. There it is for you. I guess as far as for you to check out at your leisure. We're going to send this off to somebody on the outro of the stream, so stick around for that if you can. Got a pretty good idea where we're going to go on the outro, so hopefully to see you all again pretty soon here, folks. Bye for now.